Well, it's Monza. A track that needs no introduction, but I'll do one anyway. In the city that sits within the region of Lombardy, which lies just north of Milan, AC Monza won promotion to Serie A in 2022 for the first time in the club's history, and are currently holding their own against the regular thoroughbred teams that populate Italy's top football division. No matter what success the team may achieve in the future, you just get the feeling that it might be forever overshadowed by something else. Of course, I'm talking about the city's affinity with motor racing. Specifically, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. The circuit celebrated its 100th birthday in the very same year that AC Monza ascended to Serie A. And during that century, there have been more than a few memorable moments within the confines of the course. It's hard to find the words to encapsulate the racing pedigree that exists at Monza. It's an irreplaceable circuit on the Formula One calendar, and one of the first names on anyone's lips when asked to name any racetrack in the world. Today, we're going to look at the historic sections of the Monza circuit that exist out of bounds on Gran Turismo, as well as a few other surprises too. I hope you enjoyed the video. Built in 1922, the circuit has always consisted of a road course and an oval track too. Sometimes run separately, sometimes together, with the oval part of the track remaining in use until 1971. But how much of it is modelled on Gran Turismo? Let's find out. The oval was left to decay after it became unused and was only rescued from succumbing to nature in the 2010s. There's also a section of the historic oval course that's modelled close to the Parabolica, which leads us back onto the main straight. Just before we turned right and followed the old oval, you might have spotted another right turn just before it. This is actually a section of the Monza Junior course, which connects the main straight with the back straight after Ascari. It's been in use since 1959, but has yet to properly appear on a Gran Turismo title. There's also another section of Monza which should be right about here. However, it's missing. You can see what's here in real life on Google Earth. This is actually the Pirelli test track. Fortunately, we can see a small section of it that was modelled, where it joins back up with the Monza road course near Ascari again. It was built as part of the 1938 reconstruction of the circuit as a test track for the tyre manufacturer. But due to the outbreak of World War II, it never ended up being used, and has laid there ever since. Zooming out of the circuit briefly, we can see the photos of the real-life Monza circuit that were used by the game's developers to make up the scenery for the track in-game. This scenery is how the area would have looked back in 2009 or 2010 when the game was in development. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll probably never stand on the podium at Monza. But don't worry, with this debug camera, which was released as part of the Gran Turismo 5 Master Mod, you can experience what it would be like. Close to the track, you've got several of these tunnels running underneath, presumably for spectators to make their way to different parts of the circuit. They're just images on Gran Turismo 5 here, rather than actual tunnels. But you've also got these signs nearby. There's one for Sassoli Group, who are stainless steel providers. Then there's this one that reads something like Super Sprint. And also one for Nuova Dicis, or Nuova Dicis. They make portable toilets. A necessity here, I guess. We've also got a sign for Yamaha. Also one for the swimming pool that's located just here. It seems to be somewhat run down back in 2010. And it's much the same story on Google Earth today. This one's a bit too pixelated to read, but there's a nice looking rally car on there. And then one for Venus, presumably a smart 4.2 dealer. This one's familiar, it's Nestle. We also have one for Advan too, a familiar name in the Gran Turismo universe. On the other side of the track, there's one for Motel Hotel. Also one for a company named Rovelli. Behind the pits and the grandstand, there's this vehicle belonging to CEA Estinori, who I believe are responsible for fire safety at the circuit. I'm not sure if this vehicle is even visible without using this debug camera. If it isn't, then it's been hiding here for over 10 years. Close by, we've got an information sign for the track. A sign for Monza itself, and a map of all the amenities and such. There's also a Motorama shop here, which I believe sells model cars in real life. However, I'm not sure that there are really 5 of them in a row. Back on the other side of the track, opposite to where the oval track branches off, there's a small campsite with some chalet type buildings, some caravans, and even something like a shower block, I believe. Just imagine camping this close to the action at Monza. Passing the Curva Grande, there's this interesting looking building which is occupied by Rovagnati, an Italian delicatessen. After Della Roggia, there's this factory type building on the left. What's interesting about this is that you can see people's real life cars captured in the exterior shots of the building, and also inside the compound if you look at it from above. If you've seen my video about the Top Gear test track, you'll know that I absolutely love this stuff. After the Lesmos, I spotted these two curious looking graffitied buildings to the side of the course. One piece of graffiti is pretty questionable. I hope I don't get demonetized for showing it. I was trying to work out what they could be, and I came to the conclusion that they're likely toilets. Yeah. The Autodromo Nazionale di Monza sits inside Monza Park, which was commissioned by Napoleon Bonaparte's stepson during the French occupation of northern Italy, and was completed in 1808. This building here dates from around the same time, and is called the Seraglio dei Cervi, which translates to something like the Menagerie of Deer. It's comprised of a main farmhouse building and an adjoining gate. It once served as access to the area originally intended for the restocking of game, until deer hunting within Monza Park ceased around 1850. You might also have heard the term Porta del Seraglio, which refers to the ornate gateway at the front of the property. Further down the road we come to the section of the oval track that we flew past earlier. From this angle here, you can see the graffiti that has been scrawled on it over the years as well. There are storage sheds underneath the banking. There are some uniquely modelled bits close to the road course, whereas the ones further away are all duplicates of one another. To the left, there's more graffiti, including a very famous name in particular. There's also this message written on the tunnel here, which you would only really be able to see if you drove the wrong way around the course, or if you looked behind you at this precise moment. If you're wondering, it translates to Thoroughbred Horse Auction. And that's where we leave Monza. I hope you've enjoyed meandering through the scenery of the circuit, and I will see you for another exploration very soon. Thanks for watching.